Spurs held shoot-around this morning before hosting the Hornets tonight. And with the victory, San Antonio will earn just its second winning streak this season, dating back to October 31st and November 2nd when they beat the Suns in back-to-back games. And once again, Trey Jones will start a point guard for the Silver and Black. Wednesday night in the Spurs' 130-108 win at Detroit, Trey started and he had 11 points and 5 assists in 27 minutes. KSAT12 Sports' Mary Rominger went to morning shoot-around, and she has more.
Hey Larry, the Spurs have this weekend's back-to-back as a chance to build some momentum off of their win in Detroit before hitting the road for 5 straight games. The key tonight against the Hornets will be Trey Jones starting at point guard for the 4th straight game.
Every game I get to play, I'm trying to continue to play my game and leave my impact or my print on the game as well. Whether I'm starting or coming off the bench, it doesn't matter. My main goal is always just to win, and so whenever my name is called and numbers called, I'm trying to be ready, as ready as I can, and do what I can for the team and what the team asked me to do, and let the rest just take care of itself. I'm not too worried about that.
His ability to push the pace, and if stuff's not organized, he always has a calming presence out there, and that's what you need when you're starting the game and starting the third quarter. You need a guy that can control the pace and the tempo and not turn it over, and that's something Trey's really good at.
Since Jones has been entered into the starting lineup, the Spurs suffered 2 really close losses before, of course, defeating the Pistons by a 22-point margin. From Victory Capital Performance Center, Mary Rominger, KSAT12 Sports. Larry, back to you.
Thank you, Mary. The Spurs will host the Hornets tonight at 7. Highlights on the night beat. And here's forward Zach Collins running at shoot-around this morning as he comes back from a right ankle sprain. He suffered the injury December 29th at the Portland Trail Blazers, and he hasn't played since. Pop said Collins would miss 2 to 4 weeks, and it's been 2 weeks today that he got hurt.
Football coverage brought to you by Davis Law Firm.
Rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud is getting ready for his first taste of the NFL playoffs when the Texans host the Browns tomorrow afternoon. He was asked what the veterans on the team have said is the difference between regular season and playoff games.
They said there's no difference. It's just what you make it. And for me, I think that's one thing that I can appreciate is the honesty, just not blowing things up with them. Like, they're always going to be honest with me and not tell me something's bigger than what it is or lesser than what it's going to be. It's just football.
Back in Week 16, the Browns beat the Texans 36-22 in Houston. Joe Flacco had a big game. Stroud was out in concussion protocol. Now, through all the injuries this season, the Browns went 11-6 and earned the 5th seed in the AFC playoffs.
This is what we go to work for every day, is to be in this position and to play these types of games. So I think we should all hold our head high. Like, we earned the right to be playing this Saturday.
Flacco, who started for the injured Deshaun Watson, has won 7 road playoff games in his career, which ties him with Tom Brady for the most in league history. January Joe and the Browns are favored by 1.5 points. And let's hope he stays stuck on 7 road victories.
January Joe.
January
I hadn't heard
Joe.
that one.
There you go.
Yeah.
Every now and again.
Somebody said they hope the expiration date doesn't go off on Joe Flacco, that he keeps it going
Sure.
like he used to play.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Thank you. We'll be right back. Welcome back. People, pets, pipes, and plants. Those are the 4 Ps that we always emphasize when we talk about the things that we need to prepare before we have extreme temperatures.
Yeah, tonight we're going to focus on plants. You don't want them to die when we get freezing temperatures. Joining us live to give us advice, an expert, David Rodriguez, a horticulturist with Bexar County AgriLife. David, thank you for joining us. There are a lot of people out there who just don't know what to do, and so they either cover too much or too few. Let's start with general advice for people. Which plants do they need to bring inside, and which plants might be okay in freezing temperatures?
All right. Well, good evening. Well, when in doubt, cover and protect to your best ability. It's better to go over than under. Tomorrow is an opportunity to really get moving on this because the sun's going to be coming out, and by late Saturday evening or Sunday or Monday, you probably don't want to be outside. So container plants are a priority. A lot of times we grow a lot of very tender or seasonal or tropical or subtropical plants in containers. So hopefully you've made some room inside your house, in the garage, or some people are fortunate to have a greenhouse or overwintering structure. Give them a good drink if they're a little bit dry. And if some of these container plants are just so heavy to move, try to tighten them up, can tight, away from the cold northern winds. That's where it really desiccates and dries out a lot of these plants. Get some insulate or any winter protection type covers or blankets. You don't want to take the bedspread off your bed, but get appropriate covering. A lot of these plants, either in the ground or tender plants in the ground or in containers, as long as we insulate the main root system and the crown, even if we lose or get some of the top nipped on it, hopefully it'll bounce back in the springtime. Watering is very important. If you haven't really irrigated what needs it, we've had a little bit good spread out rainfall this winter and fall, but moisture in the soil helps. Mulching with a good double shredded hardwood mulch, and even up on the base or crown with if you've raked up leaves, mulch, anything to insulate that crown, the top, let the top get nipped but we want to protect the crown of a lot of these real tender type plants.
Yeah, good advice.
David, just to follow up on one of those questions, I'm just curious. So a lot of people here do have those subtropical plants. What are the most common plants that you see that people have that don't fare well whenever temperatures dip?
Definitely. Tropical hibiscus, bougainvilleas, all those real beautiful summer colored tender type perennials, isoras, and all those. You see them around like a lot of swimming pools and patios. They're just very, very cold sensitive. Now, we have a lot of great summer colored Texas superstar plants that we plant in the landscape, which are perennials like firebush, esperanza, plumbago, lantana, and all those. And that's fine if they freeze back, because normally we cut a lot of those salvias and those types of plants back around mid-February, March. It could be 6-inch sticks down to the crown of the plant, but they will respond back with new spring growth once the soil temperatures warm up.
How about something that's been just planted or was planted just a few months ago, like a bush or something that's right along your house that you're maybe concerned about? Should you cover those?
Yeah, most of these appropriate tested time trees, shrubs, evergreens, hardy perennials, as long as they're properly irrigated and mulched, even if some of the top gets compromised, especially the perennials, for the amount of temperatures that we'll be receiving, they all should be fine.
Which ones can get covered with blankets and which ones definitely need the tarp?
Yeah, when in doubt, cover what you can. If it was a fall planted perennial or color type plant, I would just go ahead and be on the safe side by watering it, mulching it, covering it. The challenge that we often have with these cold events is, we can wake up in the morning on days that the heater's on, and by 2 p.m. the same day, the air conditioning's on. That's where we live. So we don't want to keep a lot of these, particularly container plants, inside the house or garage more than 3 to 7 days, because we want to kind of move them out. And I know everyone made their New Year's resolution by gardening more and exercising more. So you'll get your gardening experience early this year and get some exercise moving these plants in and out.
Yeah, exactly. Two birds with one stone. David Rodriguez, I appreciate your stopping by to help us, and a horticulturist with the Bexar County AgriLife. Thanks, David.
Have a great weekend. Thank you.
We'll be right back. When temperatures this cold are in the forecast, it's important to take care of a lot of things around your house. We talked about plants. Now let's talk about pipes.
John Paul Badajas shows us the correct way to do that.
Once it freezes below 32 degrees, the water starts to expand just like an ice tray basically, and there's no room for it to escape, so it's going to stretch the pipe to the point it's going to burst.
Now, if you want someone to come out and wrap your pipes, you can definitely hire someone to do that, or you can do it by yourself. It's fairly simple. Just got to get yourself some thermocell insulation covering. Make sure you got the right size for your pipes at home. Then you want to make sure it just slips on there. Make sure everything's covered up, the way it's protected from all the elements. nice and tight. This one here comes with its own strip seal, but you can also just tape it up or use zip ties to make sure it's nice and tight and nothing is exposed. Now the other thing you want to make sure is covered are faucet bibs outdoors as well. You can buy big box store supplies to cover that up, or you can just get a hand towel or old t-shirts to wrap it up, but you want to make sure that it is completely wrapped up and covered. And then again, duct tape it, seal it down, make sure that there's no exposed areas and that wind or any precipitation doesn't get in there. So feel free to double up on the tape, make sure it's nice and snug. Now when it comes to your pipes inside, for the most part they should be fine, but if you have water lines or water supply lines on an exterior wall, it could be better safe than sorry, and you can also wrap your pipes. In here underneath the sink, you don't really have to worry about the drains too much, but more so the water supply lines back here. So again, you just take your thermocell and you go back here, wrap it up, make sure it covers the entire pipe. Like that. Again, this one seals itself. Zip ties or duct tape also work. Technicians with Elmer's Home Services add, keeping your faucets dripping can also help by keeping water steadily moving through the pipes. And leaving cabinets where pipes are located open will let warm air circulate through there as well. As for firing up the heater, when you hear rumbling or something that isn't smooth, like a motor is kicking up, what should the homeowner do that?
Immediately at that point, we always want to recommend turning off the system. The main thing that we want to listen for is just make sure we don't have any squealing, anything like that. You don't want any loud, sudden noises, but you will hear the ignition of the flame, and then you will hear the blower motor turn on.
It's important to make sure windows, doors, and attics are also well insulated to keep heat from escaping your home. For more tips, go to KSAT12. John Paul Barajas, KSAT12 News.
Now we turn to the weather expert. Mia Montgomery joins us now. Mia, 52 right now. We're going to pine for 52 degrees
Yes.
in the next few days.
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be great. Enjoy it, because after that Arctic air moves in again before sunrise on Sunday, it is going to be very, very cold through the middle of next week before we start to warm things up, mainly by Wednesday afternoon. So all of those freeze preps that we've been talking about over the past 20 minutes, make sure that those are finished before heading to bed tomorrow, because that cold air is going to move in overnight and early Sunday morning, and then hard freezes do follow Monday, Tuesday, and into Wednesday mornings of next week. So we're once again going to get you the latest timeline on that, plus talk about light ice potential as well after this.
For days, we've been talking about preparing for the colder weather, so we know that it's coming. It's just a matter of preparing for the timing. That's what's really important, especially when it comes to preparation.
Absolutely, because even earlier this week, it was slated to move in late Sunday, and then that timeline really got bumped up just because we're dealing with a very shallow, dense Arctic air mass. And those types of air masses do tend to speed up rather than slow down. So again, that is going to be moving into south central Texas overnight Saturday and early Sunday morning. Before sunrise on Sunday, it's pretty much here across the vast majority of south central Texas. Now, that hard freeze is going to be the big story into next week. We're expecting hard freezes Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday morning. So all of those preps, finish them tomorrow before heading to bed tomorrow night. And we do have the potential, about a 30 to maybe even a 40% chance to find some pockets of light freezing drizzle, a little bit of freezing rain late Sunday night and early Monday morning. So I do want to talk about that setup, just get you the latest information here when it comes to that potential. So there's an area of low pressure off to our northeast right now that actually was responsible for bringing the cold front in last night that kicked up those very gusty northwest winds that we saw early this morning. We're going to see that first push of Arctic air move in early Sunday. That freeze line then moves into south central Texas. It's another disturbance that follows behind that. It's going to swing across the northern portions of the state. That could kick up just enough energy, as well as bring in some additional moisture over this shallow, dense air to potentially develop those pockets of freezing rain and a little bit of drizzle. Notice your timeline here by midnight on Sunday and into early Monday morning. The good news is is Monday is a holiday, so not as many people out there on the roadways, but still, if you're coming in over bridges and overpasses, maybe to the March Monday morning, we will need to monitor those initially and first, and even some of those elevated surfaces, a light glaze will be possible, but as of right now, accumulations are still looking pretty light, so that's the good news. But again, this is going to continue to evolve as we get better data in over the next 24 hours, so please keep checking back with us as we really hone in on those details. Here's another way to look at those actual temperatures. By Sunday morning, we're already in the upper 20s here in town, and depending on the cloud cover Sunday and into Monday, it's possible that we struggle to climb above freezing here in the Alamo City. Even better chances of not climbing above 32 degrees the farther up into the hill country that you go. That first hard freeze Monday, 25 degrees in the morning, and then upper teens by Tuesday and into Wednesday mornings. And we're also going to be dealing with the wind as well. By Monday, some gusts upwards of 25 to 30 miles per hour. Tuesday, upwards of 30 to 35 miles per hour. So that introduces the wind chill factor in there too. By Monday morning, wind chills in the teens here in San Antonio. By Tuesday morning, I think we could see some of those feels-like temperatures fall into the single digits. So it is very, very cold air and dangerous air that we will be dealing with if you're planning on stepping out, especially early Tuesday. That does take us, though, into the MLK March on Monday. It is going to be very cold. We talked about this at the top of the newscast. Please layer up. Very, very heavy coats. You will want the beanies, the gloves, the scarves, just about everything. Temperatures in the upper 20s, feeling even colder through about lunchtime, then trying to climb into the low 30s into early Monday afternoon. We will monitor that light ice potential overnight Sunday and especially early Monday. Then after that moves out by Monday afternoon. It's really the cold that's going to stay through the middle of the week. That's going to be the bigger story. Temperatures finally climbing into the 40s on Wednesday, low 60s by Thursday. Then another front tries to drop those temperatures a bit more as we head into next weekend, guys.
Mia, thank you.
All right, talk about a cold shoulder. We're going to talk about the art of ice carving when we come back. To the buzz now, and something unique for Monica, Joey, Chandler, Rachel, Phoebe, and Ross will be there for you if you have enough money. Yeah. The auction house Hanson's is placing 2 original scripts of Friends Under the Hammer. Officials there have the guide price started at about $760.
Okay, so let's go back to what the actual the scripts are. The episodes, the one with Ross's wedding, part 1 and part 2, they were filmed at Fountain Studios in London. And then after that, somebody threw the scripts in the trash, which then an employee found and then put in a drawer and just left it there for years, forgot about it. So that's what you can get your hands on now.
Pretty smart employee.
Mm-hmm. Now, a major breakthrough for NASA. Curation team members from the space agency were finally able to remove the fasteners from the sampler head that had space material inside. Okay, what does that mean? It means that NASA basically opened its asteroid container.
Yeah, it was like a really tight jar top.
Mm-hmm.
Not that really, but it wasn't easy. The whole process was halted in October because the tools they had couldn't completely disassemble the touch and go sample acquisition mechanism. The jar. Work was able to resume after new tools were fabricated. The curation team is expected to release its findings on the asteroid samples sometime this spring. All right, art and cold weather living in perfect harmony in Michigan. The 20th annual Hunter Ice Festival kicked off today in Niles, Michigan, with ice carvers displaying their talents all over downtown. That's the cold shoulder I was telling you.
That's pretty cool. Artists have been hard at work all week, cutting 32 tons of ice into 150 ice sculptures. That's cool. Visitors can also watch live carvings during the festival and a carving competition Saturday afternoon.
I think it was an ice guana. I'm not sure. I think so. We'll be right back.
All right, real quick, 48 degrees right now. If you're stepping out for any Friday night plans, temperatures falling through the 40s. Will be a bit chilly, clear skies in place and calmer winds than what we saw earlier this morning. Finish those freeze preparations tomorrow. High temperature in the 60s. Pleasant. Enjoy it because that cold Arctic air moves in before sunrise on Sunday. It's here to stay through the middle of next week, and we'll be monitoring for that light ice potential overnight Sunday and early Monday morning.
Good Plants, pipes on my to-do list.
Yes.
Tomorrow.
We'll see you on the Night Beat.